that's everything. And so when the Minister of Finance says the economy is turning around, you have a 2.5 billion debt. Your bailout is only 3 billion. And so 2.5 billion debt sitting and breathing, you know, and you say the economy is turning around, that alone can crash everything that has been done. And so they want to create a more upbeat, you know, story about the economic management before they leave office. But like I said, we're going to open the books when we come and let Ghanaians know what the true situation is. Because if Ghanaians understand what the true situation is, then they will understand some of the measures we have to take to bring things back to normal. Yeah. And so we would expect, you know, if we can cooperate with you.
President-elect John Dramani Mahama has reassured that his administration's Operation Recover All Loot Oral initiative is not a witch hunt, but rather a concerted effort to tackle corruption. He explained that Oral is designed to gather evidence to aid the prosecution of corrupt officials by designated state institutions to ensure accountability and restore public trust, and form part of his administration's broader commitments to transparency and good governance. Mr. Mahama said the Oral Preparatory Committee, which has been set solely to receive evidence, was not going to replace established state institutions clothed with the mandate to investigate and prosecute crimes, and would therefore had the evidence it gathers to relevant authorities for investigation and prosecution.
Oral Operation Recover All the Loot. I announced the preparatory committee, and I think people are misunderstanding it. We're receiving a lot of information on things that are going wrong, or things, I mean, corruption scandals and all that. Some send me texts on my phone, some call me, others pass through other people. We want a focal point where all that evidence is directed, and so that they can assemble that evidence. And once we come into office, Oral is not going to be investigating people. It's going to gather the evidence and pass on that evidence to the government institutions that are geared, supposed to do that kind of work. And so we just want that if people have any information that they think is useful in the fight against corruption, pass it on to this team. That's what the team is about. And they are all doing that service pro bono. They are not expecting any payment. There's no expenditure or budget associated with the task that they are carrying out. And so that's the explanation for it. Yeah. And so I don't think that people should think that it's a witch hunting committee. Yeah. We have no brooms to fly at night. So I can assure people that it's not meant.
Away from that, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah, has revealed that political parties were responsible for the disruption of the parliamentary result collation process in 12 remaining constituencies. The Commission had previously ordered a recollation of results in these areas due to early disruption. To facilitate a smooth process, the recollation was moved to Police Training Center at Tesano. The constituencies also affected include Domikwabinyam, Okankwe Central, Ablekumo North, Techiman South, Suhum, Akwatia, Frontier North, Central, Tema Central. During the press statement in the press conference yesterday, December 19, 2024, Jane Mensah explained that the interference from the political parties had prevented the Commission from continuing the coalition process for the remaining constituencies. She further added that the parliamentary results for Ablekumo North and Okankwe Central will not be accepted.
And taken over by political party leaders and supporters, and the results declared for both constituencies without due process being followed. In the case of Okankwe Central, a winner was declared without collating results from 31 polling stations. In the case of the Ablekumo North constituency, a winner was declared without collating results from 62 polling stations. This is unacceptable. It is important to note that the declarations made by our staff were made under threat, and the Commission considers this as illegal. Those declarations, as well as others that have gone on in other constituencies, will not be upheld.
Meanwhile, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah, has appealed to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and President-elect John Dramani Mahama and the National Election Security Task Force to intervene in constituencies where results have been deemed incomplete.
We therefore use this occasion to humbly call on the President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as well as our President-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to intervene in this matter so as to ensure that the Commission is provided with the necessary security and protection to carry out its functions. We also call on the National Election Security Task Force to come together to put in place arrangements to ensure that our staff and our processes are protected and secured in a way that will ensure that the true outcomes of our processes reflect the will of the people as expressed on the pink sheets.
Still on election matters, Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, has expressed grave concerns over the conduct of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah, describing it as a danger to the country's democracy. Speaking to the media, the legislator pointed out that the recent action by the EC to contest parliamentary results collated despite the declaration of same is in contravention of CI 127.
Particularly after the declaration of the results, for the Electoral Commission to do what it is doing. In fact, Jane Mensah has become a danger to our democracy. Because you see, she cannot be a law unto itself. The Electoral Commission is subject to the Constitution and subject to regulation CI 127. CI 127 is very clear that where results are declared, it is not up to the Electoral Commission or the electoral commissioners to decide to ignore, to validate or not validate that declaration, because the declaration is in pursuance of CI 127. The Constitution is very clear in Article 99, Clause 1, Paragraph A, thereabout, that where a person is aggrieved or there's a challenge in respect of whether or not the parliamentary seat or election to a parliamentary a member of parliament is in doubt, the High Court stays with the original jurisdiction in this matter. So where parliamentary results of parliamentary elections are in doubt in some respective constituencies, any person aggrieved with the declaration conducted by officials of the EC, the forum convenience to remedy.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Agbande, has dared the Electoral Commissioner Jane Mensah to conduct any form of recollation. According to him, the EC has demonstrated nothing but failure throughout the electoral process.
To protect the EC in such a criminal scheme. Now, we need Ghana to be peaceful. If you go to Sablugu, even though the MPP won, our party over there had issues with the declaration. What we have told them is to go to court. On the strength of EC's own precedent, 2020, where in Techiman South, we had a cause to call for recollation. The EC told all of us that you go to court. What has changed? The inconsistency on her part. It's enough to demonstrate incompetence, classical incompetence, and doing everything possible to render this nation chaotic. I am daring President Akufo-Addo and daring the Electoral Commission. They should try the recollation. They will do it in the sky. And I'm advising the MPP. They have lost. If they have any...
Away from election, let's move straight to Parliament, and the Deputy Majority Chief Whip Habib Idrisu has confirmed that the Finance Minister will be presenting the 2024 Appropriation Bill before Parliament today. This follows after the Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam failed to appear before Parliament for the fourth consecutive time. Addressing concerns raised by members of Parliament over the Finance Minister's absence, Honourable Idrisu assured the House that all necessary arrangements had been made for the representation.
From January to March 2025. It's an important document. The Finance Minister ought to do that on behalf of the President. The finance minister have given indication that he's ready to do that, but he's unavailable, absent at the moment. So tomorrow it can be laid and taken, but for us to say that a different minister should do that, this is very important document. Without authorization, neither does he have any indication to do so. So, Mr. Speaker, like the minority leader rightly said, we don't have any difficulty in doing the 3 motions from the Public Accounts Committee. Then after that, we call it a day, and tomorrow we could be able to look at the appropriation from January to March. It wouldn't be any difficult task as doing it tomorrow. And at the moment, we don't have that authorization.
Still in Parliament, Minority Leader Dr. Kazel Acheforson has issued a stern warning to Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, insisting that failure to present the government's mini-budget to Parliament could result to legal repercussions.
To the Minister and His Excellency the President, that the Constitution places an obligation on the President to present to this House before the year ends expenditure in advance of appropriation for the first 3 months of the year 2025. And this is Article 80. The Speaker, aside that, the PFM Act, the Public Financial Management Act, places a responsibility on the Finance Minister to act on behalf of the President to present the estimate before us. And there are severe penalties for not doing it. There are severe penalties for not doing it, including a jail term. Severe penalties. So I just want to caution those in.
Away from that, the Ghana Immigration Service has denied allegations that the e-gate system recently deployed at the Kotoka International Airport cost taxpayers $240 million. Now, these claims follows accusations of corruption tied to the government's decision to engage a private company for the activation of the system. The minority in Parliament has been vocal of its criticisms, with Minority Chief of Governors Kwame Agboja during an interview on Wednesday, December 18, describing the arrangement as a clear case of create, loot and share. Agboja questioned why $147 million was allegedly spent on the e-gate system, pointing out that the entire airport was constructed at a cost of $250 million. In a statement released on Thursday, December 19, the GIS clarified that the widely circulated $240 million cost figure for the e-gate system is inaccurate. Arguing and urging the public to disregard such claims, the service emphasized its commitment to transparency and accountability in implementing projects.
The Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, actually looked on when an entity in this country actually proposed that the e-gate alone will be $200 million. E-gate in an airport that cost $250 million was supposed to be done for $200 million. That amount has been revised to $140 million, and today we are told that is still around $147 million. What will be the reason justification?
Well, that's all for the package this morning on ABC Headline. I am Eric Chinibwa Melo. For more news to